Hi people, it's Sarkovist here, and today I have the Star Wars Battlefront Beta on the PC. Now, what do I think of the beta? Well, like many people who have played this game, I am very, very impressed, but not with every aspect of it. So there are 3 parts to this beta, and I'm afraid I only have 2 to show you today, but I'm going to describe the final one. So you have survival mode on Tatooine, and this basically is a very, very simple, straightforward, easy horde mode where you as a rebel has to fend off the Imperials. It's very much a no-frills horde mode, but the simple fact that you are fighting on Tatooine, fending off stormtroopers, we really haven't seen anything like this in a game, certainly recently, definitely not this generation. So that in itself was just a fun, nice way of easing myself into the beta, into the mechanics of how Battlefront works. But then, after completing the very easy and straightforward Tatooine survival, I moved on to Drop Zone. Now, Drop Zone is an excellent multiplayer mode for someone like me because when it comes to competitive multiplayer first-person shooters, I tend to favour the more Call of Duty side of it. That basically means running around in relatively small maps doing up-close and personal Twitch-based reaction stuff. I know lots of people hate that, but hey, I've just always enjoyed that. I'm kind of like the thrill of it. I'm really actually not much of a team player. I do these team-based games almost in a solo way, but I always try, if I can, to play the objective. And the objective in this mode is to go after the orbital drops that come down and capture them. So you have to move up to them, hold down the X button, or I guess if you're on a PlayStation 4, the square button, and this will allow you to capture it, and then you hold it, and once you've had it for a certain amount of time, you gain the orbital drop, and you have to get a certain number of them to defeat your opponent. And it's quite fun, and the map design here is very, very good because there's an element of elevation that you have to keep in mind. So the rocks that go up into the air, they protrude out of the ground, I should say, present a gameplay dilemma for the players. So yes, by going up there, you can survey around, you can look around, see your opponents, and if you want to, try and take a shot at them, but you also really do telegraph where you are. So I've gone up there before and thought, wow, this is a fantastic sniping position, but wait a second, everyone could see me. No sooner did that hit me, a bullet hit me and I flew off dead. You have to be careful, and something I would strongly suggest in Battlefront is to stay on the move. You don't want to stay in the same place for too long, and really it just makes sense to be moving in general because most people in this game seem to be using the sniper card, and I'll get to the card thing later. So if you stand still, you will get headshot. That is a promise. And also something I found is that the standard blaster rifle isn't too great. I moved on to the more compact sort of submachine gun-esque blaster. I found that to be far more useful. It seemed to do a lot more damage and was just infinitely better in close encounters, and that's something you'll come across a lot on Sullust in Drop Zone. And in fact, before I got this blaster, this almost submachine gun blaster, I was dying a lot. I mean, I was getting almost no kills. It was only when I got this that things started to very slowly improve for me. And after getting it, I found myself in a better position, more competitive, and that's what I've been using since. Now, coming back to that card idea, now rather than having your traditional secondary weapon that you switch to, you use up its ammo just like another weapon, it now seems to work on a recharge system. So I'd pull out my sniper rifle, sniper-esque rifle, I think a sniper rifle is a fair way of describing it. You'd fire one shot and then it recharges and you have to wait. So it's not so much viable to stand in one position and try and snipe and snipe and snipe. It's more like if you see an opportunity to take someone out from across the map, pull it out and make that shot count because you'll have to wait if you miss. I did often find myself sort of having to consider, do I run in and try and capture the objective or do I stay back? Because like the sniper rifle, thermal grenades are also on a recharge, which means that there's no real reason to try and reserve your grenades, so you'll find that people are throwing them a lot. So if you stay near that original objective, the orbital drop, for too long, I guarantee you that thermal grenade will kill you. So get out of there as soon as possible and try and defend it from a distance. But it also makes it very easy to defend if you go to a distance because you can kind of just organise it so that your team is just constantly throwing grenades into that area. But I'd say the map design here really did impress me. That is a real highlight I found. It seems like it's going to be really simple because it's like a wasteland, it's not like an urban environment, but the subtle elevations make a real difference. It's a really interesting map design. And something I will move on to now, but I'm afraid I have no footage of, is the Hoth 8080 Walker mode, Walker Assault mode I think it's called. And if you want to see this in action, there is I think a very well-known trailer that came out a while back, so see that if you want. But the reason I couldn't get footage for this mode is because although it seems like the most awesome concept of all the modes that they've got on, available here so far, in practice it becomes a little difficult to appreciate as an individual unless you're very good at this game. Because I found myself just running around the map a lot, getting lost, getting shot up from directions I had no idea the people were even at, and I never got to play as Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader, which, you know, I'm a Star Wars fan, I want to play as them, I just want to have fun and play as them. And when I did see Darth Vader, he started walking towards me. I thought, oh, this is cool. At least I can get killed by him, because I thought that would be an honour at least. But my team just blew him to pieces in seconds. He just got shot up. It's like, it's cool. I think he was deflecting the lasers at first, but if you've got at least 5 people concentrating fire, it doesn't matter if you've got the Force on your side. You're going to die. And that's what happened to poor Darth Vader there. I'd also say there is an inherent disadvantage to playing as the Rebels. It seems like the Imperials definitely have an advantage with the Walkers. Yes, the Rebels have their set up defences, but they just don't seem to be as powerful. And I didn't once play a game where the Rebels won, and it got to the point where if I joined the game and I was the Rebels, I thought, I just can't be arsed. You know what I mean? I can't be arsed. Playing as an Imperial is so fun, but I'd rather be on the winning team. A great thing about the beta, especially if you're a PC gamer, is that it allows you to gauge if this is a good port, or if the graphics are any good if you're just playing it on any other platform. So first of all, the graphics. The graphics are beautiful, and I think the lighting in particular is done especially well. But because these are so many rural environments, so you're talking about rocks, it could have so easily have been a very boring visual design, but if you look very closely, there is an enormous amount of detail. On Sullust in particular, like just looking at the ground, despite it just being rocks, it's just so intricately designed, and it seems so handmade almost. It's very impressive. And the same goes for Tatooine, and even on Hoth, there is a nice glistening to the snow. But I think it was Sullust and Tatooine that particularly impressed me. And you know, again, the lighting is very good. And it's just nice to be able to see these iconic designs of the Stormtroopers and the Rebels and the AT-STs in this game. I mean, for a long time we haven't had a Star Wars game. I hope I'm not forgetting an obvious one there. I recently went back and played a few. I played the original Battlefront, sorry, not the original Battlefront, Battlefront 2, which I still thoroughly enjoy, and Force Unleashed, but it's been quite a big gap since we've had a really good Star Wars game. You might say the Old Republic is semi-new, but didn't really care for that. But back to this. It's just nice to see a game that really does look like it's captured the look, oh, and I should say the sound of Star Wars as well. The sound as well, definitely. Now, this is just my opinion, and there are probably people out there who love the Hoth mode. And I'm sure, I think it comes down to this. If you're someone who really likes the Call of Duty style of play, you'll probably like Drop Zone like me with Sullust. If you really like Battlefield, you'll probably like Hoth. That's probably what it's, that's where people are going to be divided there. But on the whole, this is a quality game from what I can tell so far. And it certainly doesn't feel like a beta. It feels like just an early demo, just promotional material, frankly. It feels polished, finished. You know, it could come out like this and it would be fine. No complaints from me. I'm almost amazed at how quick I can get into games. It just happens like that, instantly. There's no waiting time to get into a match, you know, apart from just a small timer. Such a refreshing change from my experiences with Battlefield, personally. So, as you can probably tell, I am very pleased with the beta, although I am a little disappointed by how Hoth mode turned out, but in reality it couldn't have been any other way, just by the nature of the size and the scale of it. But I love Drop Zone. I see potential in survival mode. And, well, if you haven't done so already and you're not watching this past the beta, then obviously try it yourself, but this looks like it's probably going to be a decent game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a masterpiece. I think this will be a solid product. I am far more confident now that it will be a good game than prior to playing the beta. So that's my opinion on the beta. As always, people, thanks very much for watching and see you next time.